He was a five-time world champion, a true legend of darts, and one of the most colorful characters in sport. Eric Bristow, ranked world number one for close to 9 years, Phil Taylor's mentor, and one of the main reasons the game is so big and so popular around the world today, has passed away at the age of 60. Arrogant, cocky, and deadly with a set of darts, he was charismatic, self-assured, and straight to the point. We pay tribute to one of the all-time greats, an icon, the crafty Cockney, today on High Roller Radio. The darting world still in shock over news that Eric Bristow passed away last Thursday, April 5th, while at the Premier League in Liverpool. Sad news indeed, but perhaps almost fitting, it happened at the darts, a game synonymous with his image. Tall, brash, confident, a master of mind games, and fearless at the hockey, Bristow was a giant personality, and when word spread at the Echo Arena he had suffered a heart attack and died, commentators, players, and fans alike were left in shock, many in tears, including Peter Wright, snakebite unable to contain his emotion at the end of his match with Daryl Gurney, and later shared his thoughts on social media. Been an emotional time, he said, was extremely hard playing last night, tried to hit the 9 for Eric, thoughts with his family, many happy memories with you. Keith Deller, who beat Eric Bristow in the 1983 World Championship final, bravely took to the Liverpool stage next to pay his respects. I'm devastated, he said. What he's done for our game, if it wasn't for Eric, no one would be here tonight. It's a massive loss to our sport. He was a bit opinionated, Deller suggested, but Eric always said how it was. He wasn't one of these guys who would talk behind people's backs. He just said what he thought, and it was his honest opinion. I think everybody loved Eric for that. Real sad for me because he's been one of the best friends I've ever had in my life. As for his time at the top of competitive darts, Eric Bristow is the biggest name our sport has ever had, a superstar of our sport, Deller said. And reflecting on that incredible 138 finish in 1983, if you ask anybody in any sport, Deller said, you always want to beat the number one, the best player. To beat Eric in that final couldn't have been any better for me. It really was one of the most electrifying moments in sports, a defining moment in World Championship history. So clutch, such a huge upset. Deller became the first ever qualifier to win, finishing 138 for the world title after Eric passed on a shot at bullseye with his third dart, instead hitting 18 to leave 32. Bristow played the percentages, Deller did the business, is how the legendary Sid Waddell described it. The crowd in Liverpool was fantastic, chanting the entire time, almost drowning out Deller's comments. The chants went on for minutes. They were touching. The fans full of adoration, as was PDC chair Barry Hearn, who tweeted this: the word legend is often overused, but it's an understatement for Eric Bristow. Fellow darts players paid tribute on Twitter as well. Such sad news, losing a proper legend, said world champ Rob Cross. The sport of darts owes him everything. He made it the huge success it is today. He was the first superstar, an amazing player, but also a massive character. One of my biggest inspirations, Cross added. Two-time world champ Adrian Lewis was saddened to hear the news. A legendary dart player many of us have always looked up to, he wrote. John McDonald provided us a few fun, impressive facts. Bristow had a hole-in-one in golf, a 121 break in snooker, and a shed load of 180s in darts. Beat that, anyone. Sky Sports presenter Dave Clark used Twitter for another legendary quote from Sid Waddell. When Alexander of Macedonia was 33, he cried salt tears because there were no more worlds to conquer. Bristow's only 27. Clark then added a thoughtful sentiment. Enjoy a pint with Sid, my friend, and I'm sure Bristow will. The outpouring on Twitter was unreal. So many people paying homage. Eric Bristow, the reason I fell in love with the game of darts, tweeted the real Tim Vine. He was an absolute genius, announced BBC 5 Live. He could work out finishes quicker than anyone. He was brash. He was confident. He was a real Cockney. Stars from other sports were rocked as well. Just heard the awful news about Eric Bristow, said Ronnie O'Sullivan, a good mate and darts legend. My thoughts are with his family at this sad time. Boxer David Hay was fortunate to spend 3 weeks as his campmate living in the jungle, that referring to Bristow's time on the reality TV show I'm a Celeb, where he finished fourth, and delighted viewers with his quick wit and straightforwardness. Hay continued, even on the toughest of days, his dry sense of humor and quick wit truly made the trip memorable. A real gent, he'll be missed by many. Colin Baker, a cast member on that same show, said, "So very sad to hear about Eric Bristow tonight. He kept me sane and focused in I'm a Celeb and was a funny, forthright, no-nonsense friend." Also on the cast that year, Made in Chelsea star Hugo Taylor, who said at the time, "I'm so happy I managed to make a friend who was completely different to everyone else I know, and I'm sure we'll be dear friends for the rest of our lives." Yes, it wasn't just the hockey. Appearances on shows like I'm a Celeb solidified Bristow's star power. Some people just have it, and he certainly did. "A Jungle King," read the headline at the Sun newspaper, and look at the fine print there. Not just a champ in front of a dartboard, but he also won over the nation during his time on that show. Bristow was also great with Vinnie Jones. The pair had an excellent time and some great banter during a lengthy interview back in the early 90s. They even played some billiards and gambled on it. "A maverick and a man of the people," tweeted BBC Sport, and the tributes are still pouring in. At the BDO British Internationals, organizers held a moment of applause, and why not? It's well deserved. Bristow, indeed the marquee player of his generation, ranked number one in 1980 and 1981, from 1983 to 1985, and then again in 1990. He beat the legendary Bobby George 5 sets to 3 to win his first world championship in 1980. After George busted a score on double nine, Bristow nailed double 10 for glory and would go on to win 4 more world titles. In 81, he beat John Lowe 5-3. In 84, slaughtered Dave Whitcomb 7 sets to 1. Beat John Lowe again 6-2 in 1985. And then in 86, beat Dave Whitcomb again 6-0. 5 times a Windmill World Masters champ. World Cup singles champ 4 times. He won the prestigious News of the World Championship in 1983, the British Open and the Swedish Open 3 times each, and claimed the North American Open 4 times. 22 major titles, 70 career titles overall. A legend of the highest caliber, he received international fame, toured the globe. His 22-gram Harrows became a hot commodity worldwide. Everybody wanted a set. Players started using his signature crafty Cockney flights. And of course, they all wanted one of his custom-made, expensively embroidered dart shirts. A superstar of the BDO, a founding member of the PDC, and whether you cheered for him or against him, he was most certainly epic to watch. The unique way he gripped and released the darts, his stage presence, his persona, and of course his performances. For such a long time, Eric Bristow truly was darts poster boy. He was awarded an MBE in 1989 for his service to the sport, just another in the long list of titles. "He didn't die at 60, read one of the tributes. He died at treble 20. And fitting, too, that he died at the darts, where he is a true legend and sporting icon. Eric Bristow, the crafty Cockney, today on High Roller Radio.